Hey, what's up? This is Chosen. Happy middle of the week to you. And oh, geez, do we have a crazy 10x weekend? I think this is going to be possibly the craziest 10x that Plarium has ever done. And they're also doing it in a little bit of a different way than they typically do. So what we're going to do is try a new and interesting, fun way to map this out for you and talk about my thoughts on the event and each one of the champions really quickly so that you know what is going to be happening this weekend. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so Plarium is going to be doing this weekend's 10x structure a little bit different than they used to typically do it. Now, what we would usually see from them is we would get a 10x event every other weekend on the opposite weekends of the 2x events, and they would have 8 champions in total in that 10x. They would do 4 legendaries and 4 epics, but for this weekend, they're going to be trying something a little bit different. They're going to be splitting it into 2 different events, and they're going to be doing 3 epics and 3 legendaries in each one. So between those 2 events that are 6 apiece, there's going to be 12 champions featured this weekend instead of the typical 8 that we used to see in Plarium's normal events. Now, this is a little bit interesting because if they go by the normal rotation, we are due for a CVC this Tuesday because we have an off week this week. So that means when the first 10X launches, that's going to be Friday and Saturday. And then the next 10X launches, that's going to be Sunday and Monday. And then we go into Tuesday and Wednesday being CVC, and they typically do some sort of summoning event around that. So should be an interesting next few days here with all of these different 10X events going on and coming up in the game, leading right into CVC and some things going on with that as well, probably. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and pull up all the champions in the 10X events going on this weekend, and we'll give you a quick synopsis on each champion and also rank them and get everything nice and laid out for you. So let's do the first 10X event first, which is going to be launching on Friday, and that event is going to be starting with the Void Legendary feature being Krisk. Now, Krisk, there's little to no discussion here. I don't think you're going to meet anyone that wouldn't put Krisk in the S tier in terms of desirability for an account. Really not a whole lot to go into. He's aging super well because the release of things like the Hydra, he is insane there. He's great in Doom Tower progression teams. There's really no area of the game that he wouldn't at least be able to perform and slide into a team. Just so much utility on this guy, and any account that doesn't have him is definitely going to want to add him to the roster. And there will be 3 legendaries in total, obviously, for this first 10X event. And the next one is going to be no slouch either. We have got Lady Kimmy. Now, Lady Kimmy, I am probably going to put right up there in the S tier behind Krisk. Lady Kimmy is incredible. Just so much accuracy manipulation, the block buffs, the increasing accuracy and speed, the decreasing accuracy and speed, a Doom Tower 30% aura, an A1 that does all sorts of crazy turn meter stuff. Lady Kimmy, I have her. I use her in a lot of areas. Again, amazing in the Hydra and amazing really anywhere that you bring her to. So she is definitely an S tier champion in my opinion. And then the third and last legendary in that first event is going to be a new one to raid in Glissy Soul Guide. Now, I think she's an interesting one, and the really cool thing is that this passive right here is going to be this champion skills cannot be put on cooldown. So very famously, a counter to something like Warlord or Yumiko to give you an opportunity to have a support that is still online regardless of them crushing your team. So, besides that, she's got some interesting things going on. I don't know that I'd put her in the same tier as like Krisk and stuff like that, but very solid champion. I will put her up in A. Now we move into the epics, and we'll have 3 of them. We'll start with Godseeker Aniri. Godseeker is definitely an S tier epic. I'm not going to relate them in terms of like the full game. Godseeker may still be S tier, even that. I'm going to rank them in terms of their rarity because I think 10x events are a good opportunity to chase epics. So we're going to put Godseeker definitely an S tier epic, just because the buff duration stuff that she does. Anytime you manipulate buffs, it's an amazing thing to have on the battlefield, and she is going to decrease duration of all buffs on all enemies by 1 turn and increase the duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn. Lots of cool things you can do with Godseeker as a Void epic, so definitely one of the best epics in the game. The second epic is going to be Doom Priest. Now, Doom Priest, famous for the passive here. It's going to heal all allies and do some cleansing every turn. Doom Priest is really aging well and is an awesome champion to have. Definitely God tier in Faction Wars for the Night Revenant. I'm going to put Doom Priest up in the A tier. Not like a seer or something, probably in terms of desirability for an account, but definitely very solid, which leads us actually into the last epic that is going to be in this 10X. Seer is actually in the other one that starts a little bit later, and in this one we have got Rector as the last one. Rector is probably similar to Doom Priest. We'll put right there. Definitely a solid champion and a god tier carry for Night Revenant as a revive, and was a great addition to the game. Rector is kind of a little bit newer. Doom Priest is a legacy champion that was in the game on release. Rector came a lot later, like 2 years after release or something, 2.5 years, and is very solid and game changing for any sort of progressing early to mid game account, and is even solid in some end game content, maybe Tag Team Arena or the Doom Tower and stuff like that. So right there is our first 10X event that is going to be going on Friday. That'll be launching for 48 hours and be live Friday and Saturday. So yeah, Krisk, Lady Kimmy, Godseeker, Glissy, Doom Priest, and Rector. Amazing champions and one of the better 10Xs they have ever done, but may not even be better than the next 10X you can see on the bottom with Duchess, Lisandra, Necrit, Seers, Tag Knight, and Ugo. That one may be even better. So let's go ahead and separate them from left to right, where we've got the Friday and Saturday 10X and then the Sunday and Monday 10X. And it looks like we can just start with Duchess under the Demon Spawn. And similar to Krisk, there is no debate. There is no discussion. Duchess may be the best non-void legendary in the game in a lot of people's eyes. Just too good with the speed aura and the revive and everything that she does, the constant shielding on the A1, the guaranteed passive value of just being on the battlefield and reducing damage on from AoE, which is what a lot of the hard hitters are going to be doing. So Duchess, yeah, obviously in the S tier and one of the best legendaries in the game. Anybody who doesn't have her and is close to their mercy is probably going to want to be pulling during a 10X to have a more increased chance of getting her, because she is insanely game changing. Then we've got Lisandra in the High Elves, and Lisandra, you know, I want to go S tier. Lisandra is a legacy champion that has been amazing throughout the whole age of Raid. Gosh, you know, but I like to be picky about putting people in S. You know, I'm probably, I just can't. I can't drop Lisandra below S. She's just so good. She's got one of the best auras in the game. The Terminator manipulation of both sides on filling your ally and suppressing your enemy. The full depletion of the Terminator. One of the best champions in the game for Fire Knight. Really good base stats here with the 110 base speed and stuff. So yeah, Lisandra is a great speed manipulator, and I still use her in a lot of different areas of the game as an endgame player who's been playing for years now at this point. And now you're going to start to see why I'm talking about this event being so crazy as we get into Necrit here as the third legendary, also going in the S tier. It actually put him ahead of Lisandra if I'm trying to do this in any sort of order. I don't have Necrit, but I really wish I did. He is a huge quality of life for farming in the arena and tag team arena and setting up teams like that. He is so oppressive and amazing in any sort of defensive context. And one cool thing about Necrit is he only takes 6 books. If I remember right, we've got 4 plus 1 plus 1, that's 5, 6, and then no other one. So yeah, he's a void legendary that only takes 6 books. So if you get him, he's about half the price to max out compared to the other legendaries in the game, where your average is typically about 11 or 12 books. So all 3 legendaries in the second event on Sunday and Monday are going to be S tier in my opinion. But that's not all. The epics are absolutely ridiculous as well. There's going to be no discussion on the first one here in Seer. Seer is going to very obviously go in the S tier. Anybody who doesn't have Seer is going to want her because every account needs the ability to get some of those finely tuned speed runs when you're trying to blow up waves and get to the boss in like the Dragon and the Fire Knight and the Golem, and you're trying to build those speed Doom Tower teams for progression to get through the stages as fast as possible. You're always going to be using a Seer in so many different areas of the game. So amazing to have that. There really is no discussion. In terms of epics that you want to get on your account, Seer is probably a top 5 epic. For like a new player and the desirability of the different epics in the game, I'd probably put Seer top 5 on that list of desirability. Next is going to be Stag Knight, and gosh, you know, I want to put Stag Knight in the S tier as well as an epic. because he might be similar to Seer. He might be a top 5 epic you want to get on your account. I'm gonna do it. Stuff that I always say on my channel. You guys have probably heard it before if you have been a viewer of mine for a while. When I go to do an account takeover for somebody in a progression context, one of the first champions I look for is Stag Knight. The A1 decreasing speed and the constant decreasing attack and decreasing defense. He's just so good on the rotation of a 3-turn cooldown as well, and really good base stats, the 107 base speed. So I would say similar to Seer in a progression context, probably a top 5 epic that you want to get on your account. And then the last champion in the second 10x is going to be Ugo, who is absolutely amazing. I'd put Ugo like top of the A, bottom of the S, kind of like a Magic Affinity Stag Knight with the decreased defense and the block buffs. I mean, gosh, because of the block buffs, you can almost put Ugo as an S tier as well. I might have to do it because the block buffs is just so damn good. I think all these like Ugo might also be like a top 6 or 7 epic in the game. It's, you got like your Seer, your Saris, your Maneater for unlocking different unkillable compositions, your Stag Knights. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put every single champion in the second 10x in the S tier with Duchess, Necrit, Lisandra, Seer, Stag Knight, and Ugo. So obviously gonna be an insane time to pull shards if you are close to Mercy. But also for some of you progression players out there, I usually like to recommend 10x events as an opportunity to chase epics instead of legendaries. So like if you're an early or mid-game player, you haven't finished faction wars yet, you're still really acquiring champions and building up your account, this weekend can be a great opportunity to get some of those epics that are more realistic to pull. Get your Godseekers and your Rector and your Doom Priest and your Seer and your Stag Knight and your Ugo, and have a better chance to get those champions onto your champion pool. So that covers the 10x and what is going to be going on with all the craziness this weekend, and for 4 days of each one of those being 2 days. And while we're here, we can touch on some of the other stuff like Path of Light. I did go down and just kind of normally playing the game and upgrading random stuff and grinding some dungeons and spending my energy. I was able to like while I was streaming yesterday and stuff, I was able to finish this right side as the one that I prioritized for the speed glyph, and then the 3 shards here. And then I'm going to work towards the middle one here. I'm not going to go crazy and spend a bunch of money or prioritize finishing anything by any means. I'm just kind of playing it by ear, and whatever points I get is whatever points I get. I think the community sentiment on this is a little bit disappointed. I think it's cool that they're trying out a new way to do events that can that can be more customizable to what somebody is going to be going after, because obviously someone that's been playing for 3 days or 3 years is going to have very, very different priorities in game and what they are going to be desiring for resources. So I think it's kind of a cool idea. I just wish they made it a little bit more robust and had some crazier rewards here and more fun things to do revolving around it. But we'll have to see if they can get some things changed in that regard. So that's the events going on right now under the tournament. A tag team arena tournament. Ice Golem is going to be ending today. If you want to grind up and get that epic book, you're going to need to get to 2750. We're probably due for another fusion / fragment event to be announced within the next 2 weeks, because Plarium typically does about 13 of these a year, so they're just over 1 a month. And we've finished the other one a little bit ago, so we'll probably start getting teased in the next week or so what the next one is going to be. And I think they did a pretty good job on the last one. The last fusion event was pretty hype with Helicath. I think he's a pretty solid champion for sure. Graded out very well in the context of a tier list, and I still need to get an infographic done for Helicath and get that added to like the website and the tier list, and give you a video on my thoughts fully encompassing Helicath and get that out there. Hopefully work on that today or tomorrow and get that kind of rolling and produced soon on the channel. In terms of offers, looks like they're not loading for me yet. I'm a little bit disappointed on the price of skins. It looks like they're coming down a little bit though, doesn't it? I think some of the Arbiter ones were like 50 and 40, so maybe they're kind of slowly ticking these down and adjusting them a little bit. I love the hammer on this skin. I don't know about the rest of it, but I mean, I like the Aztecian look. Kind of fits Trunda with the huge helmet that she has going on, and the hammer is super cool. I still think way overpriced personally, but for those of you that are big spenders and want to get after that, I think the skins themselves are decently cool. And I would not recommend the light coin packs. We plugged this in and kind of talked about the different price points on the Path of Light. These would need to be half price, like 5 and 10, for me to feel like getting after it on those. And even then, it would be pretty iffy. So I would just do the path of light for whatever kind of naturally happens on your account while you're spending your resources and playing the game. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. We got the 10X coming up this weekend, one of the craziest ones I've ever seen, and we will be heading into next week where we probably have a CVC launching on Tuesday, and I will get back to the grindstone working on different tier lists and guides and events, or not events, but guides, tier lists, and whatever third thing I was gonna say in terms of videos I'm working on. So yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts on the 10X down below, and as always, thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.